Hi, I'm Dr. Bruce Miller. I'm the acting president of ibaptistcollege.com. Today, I'm going to share with you in a very short, maybe 8-10 minutes, maybe less, in a very short time period, what is an I.F.B? You say, I.F.B? Well, sometimes people say, are you a I.F.B? And I say, oh, yes, I am. And they say one of three things. So am I. Good. Or, you are? You're one of those? Or, well, what is an I.F.B? I'm going to deal with the last two and then let you know why some of them say good. And I smile when I say I'm an I.F.B. On social media today, I.F.B is almost a cuss word acronym. But it shouldn't be. It stands for I, independent, F, fundamental, B, Baptist, independent, fundamental Baptist. Now, I am an I.F.B. I am independent. By that, by independent, we mean that we're not part of a denomination. There are no denominations in the Gospels. There are no denominations in the book of Acts. Paul never sent one of his epistles to a denomination. He sent them to local churches or he sent them to individuals. There's no denominations in the Bible. Every church was self-governing. Now, we don't owe allegiance to or obey the dictates, independents don't, and biblicists don't, the dictates of a denominational headquarters somewhere, whether it be Rome for the Roman Catholics, or whether it be Nashville for the Southern Baptist Convention, or all the other conventions that are out there. You see, the reason for that is biblical. In Colossians chapter 1, among other places. In Colossians 1, verse 17 and 18, speaking of Christ, it says, and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. Now, verse 17, and the Bible says, he is the head of the body, the church. Jesus Christ is the head of the church, not an Episcopal denomination, a Methodist, the United Methodist denomination. Jesus Christ is the head of the church. We're independent. Every church is self-governing according to the Bible. So we're independent. Nothing wrong with that, is it? No, you are with that. We're also F, a fundamental in our beliefs. We are fundamentalists. Now, fundamentals have nothing to do with whether ladies wear skirts or pants, men have short hair like me or long hair. The Bible speaks about both of those things, but they have nothing to do with whether we go to heaven or not. Doesn't even have to do with whether you smoke cigars, cigarettes, or drink whiskey. The Bible speaks about those things directly or in principle, but it doesn't have anything to do with that. Fundamentalists were first called fundamentalists because they believed in the fundamentals, the fundamental doctrines that are essential to our salvation. For instance, would whether I smoke cigarettes, would that be fundamental to my salvation or loss of it? No. But this would be the virgin birth of Christ. If Jesus wasn't born of a virgin, he carried the sin nature of his father, but he was born of a virgin. And so he doesn't have the sin nature, which is passed down from father to children, father to children, father to children. In fact, the bodily resurrection of Jesus after he was crucified and buried, the bodily resurrection is fundamental to our salvation. How's that? Well, if he wasn't raised bodily from the dead, we're asking a dead man to save us, you see. And the Bible declares over and over that he was raised bodily. And so I just gave you two fundamentals. There are more things that are fundamental to our salvation. Nothing wrong with that, is there? But they talk about fundamentalists as if we are terrorists out there ready to mow down with a machine gun everybody on a subway car. Or if we are preaching things that have to do with obedience to all things that the Lord's commanded us and to the whole counsel of God about, for instance, lying or not lying. That's not a fundamental of our faith, because the Bible says, let God be true and every man is a liar. Hey, I'm an I.F. I'm independent. I'm fundamental. B, Baptist. Now, you don't have to be a Baptist to go to heaven. You do not have to be a Baptist to go to heaven. Oh, have I said you don't have to be a Baptist to go to heaven? Yes, I did. But, well, what is a Baptist? Why are you one? Let's just not, some say, have any denominational names. Hey, apply that to when you go to the grocery store and they've ripped the labels off of all 30,000 cans in 6 aisles of canned goods. If you're looking for green beans, you do not want to have to open up 10,000 of the 30,000 cans to find out which one has green beans in it, which one has pumpkin in it, and which one has beets in it. You see? Labels are important. They're helpful in so many ways. I'm not going into that. But why did Bruce Miller choose, after much study of the Bible, to be a Baptist? I was born into a Baptist family, but eventually I had to make up my own mind. Why did I choose to be a Baptist? Well, I believe in what's called the Baptist distinctives, things that distinguish us many times from other professing denominations. For instance, here's an important Baptist distinctive. Baptists believe that the Bible is our standard of faith and practice. Wow, that's important, isn't it? We believe that the Bible is our standard of faith and practice. And we believe that because Jesus said, Matthew 4:4, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word which proceedeth out of the mouth of God. You see, if Baptists meet in a fellowship, biblical Baptists don't have a main denomination, though I recognize there's the American Baptist Convention, the National Baptist Convention, the Southern Baptist Convention, and there are more. But we don't have to vote. I'm an independent Baptist. We don't meet with those, but we don't have to vote on whether a woman should be a pastor or not. The Bible's already determined that, and we're to live by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. We don't have to vote on whether people who have same-sex marriages are our pastors. We don't have to vote on that. The Bible's already determined that. And Jesus said, we're to live by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. We don't have to vote on whether deacons should run the church or pastors should lead the church. Many, many verses determines that. The word deacon means servant, never means leader. It means a servant. But the word pastor comes from 5 Greek words, and they all mean servant, or they all mean leader. They all mean leader. And so the Bible has determined who's leading. The pastor's presbyteros, the presider, the moderator. The pastor is to lead because he's the shepherd. You see, the shepherd should lead the flock, not the flock lead the shepherd. And so I just got started on that. We are independent, because Jesus is the Lord of the church, not a pastoral dictator or a board of deacons or a congregational vote. Jesus is. We are F, fundamentalists. We believe in the fundamental doctrines that are essential to our salvation, and we're not going to change them. We are B, Baptist, because the Bible is to be our standard of faith and practice. Hey, another one, if you're making an acronym, B, we believe in baptism of believers by immersion only. Oh boy, a whole bunch of baptisms won't be biblical baptisms because they were baptized by babies, or they baptized by sprinkling. Well, why believers only? Because the Bible says that's the way it is. And why by immersion? The Bible says that's the way it is. And Jesus said that we should live by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Don't be afraid. Those of you who are I.F.Bs, be happy, be glad. And those of you who have fallen in with that crowd that thinks we went around with horns sticking out of our head and we're looking for somebody to criticize and be negative, knock it off. I.F.B is a good term. It's a good description of what we are. Yes, I'm an I.F.B. And so is ibaptistcollege.com.